Okay, so today we'll be installing the flywheel. The things you'll need obviously is a machine flywheel. This is one that I got off a mate. You'll need some flywheel bolts. Now I'm using the OEM ones. They've already got a little bit of some sort of like thread tape or thread sealant on them, so you don't actually need Loctite for these, for the OEM ones. If you are using the ARP ones, then yes, you will need some Loctite. And they also use a different Newton meter rating for when you're tightening it up, and also different procedure. With these, you tighten it to, I think it's 48 Newton meters, and then you mark it off and go another 90 degrees from that mark. So that's the Toyota way to install it. You'll also need a paint pen just to do that marking part if you are using the OEM bolts. If you are using the ARP ones, it's good to use the paint pen as well, just to mark that they have been torqued to spec. Oh, you'll also need a torque wrench, of course, and a 14mm socket. So I've set up my torque wrench to be at roughly 47.5, I think that is, Newton meters. I think that foot-pounds is meant to be 36 foot-pounds. So now I'll get out of the car, I'll sort of line it up. One thing I'll need to do is sort of secure the crank so that I'm not spinning the crankshaft as I'm tightening the bolts. So I'll get out of the car now and sort of sort that out. Okay, you want to make sure that all the threads are clean. Just have a look, inspection inside the thread holes, and make sure they're nice and clean. Now the thing with the Toyota flywheel bolts are they are torqued to yield. So once you tighten them, you can't actually reuse them. So keep that in mind. So I'm just threading them in by hand at the moment. And you want to follow that star sort of pattern, even when you're tightening them. You just need to go opposite ends. Okay, so that's in there tight, hand tight, sorry. Now what we would need to do is find a way to basically stop the crank from turning. What I've set up here are a couple of bell housing bolts. The plan is when I turn this, obviously the crankshaft's going to turn. So I'll be putting this spanner over that and sort of using this as a stopper bar, I guess you could call it. And then when I'm done, I can just unthread the bell housing bolt and that'll just come straight out. Okay, so the pattern that you need to use basically is a plus pattern, alternating plus pattern. So you've got top, bottom, right hand side, left hand side, top, bottom, right hand side, left hand side. So I'll do that now. Having to fiddle around quite a bit with my little tool, but I think we finally got it. So this is set to, so that was set to 47.5 Newton meters. So I marked that top one there, you can see a little white mark. So that one's now torqued. Now do the bottom one. Now do the right hand side one. Do the left hand side. So that's the first 4 bolts done. And then the next one we start with basically right next to the starting bolt. So it was this one, number 5. Straight across. Number 6. Number 7. Number 8. So you just want to double check that. Yep. 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 Oh, that was this one. So now that we've got them torqued to the initial round, we basically want to mark a horizontal line on each bolt, and we're going to be turning that another 90 degrees. So we're basically marking, I know that that's a little bit off center, but that's our number one. So we'll be making a mark there, and we'll be turning that 90 degrees, which should be straight down on all of the bolts. Okay, so we've got that all marked out. We're going to follow that same pattern and make sure that each bolt ends up with the mark facing straight down. So now I'll be lifting the torque amount around 100, and we start that procedure again. Actually just had to bring out the big breaker bar because okay, as you can see now they're all facing downwards, so that's basically torque to spec. We can now remove my little brace. Okay, so that's all bolted up now, it's torqued to spec, and I've also just put the date there so I remember when I last had it machined and put it on. That's going to be it for today's video. Again, I'm really just waiting on some parts to come so I can sort of put the clutch and stuff together. That's what's sort of holding me back, and I apologize if the videos are sort of all over the place because I just worked on the electronics and now I'm doing the flywheel and it's all over the place. But maybe when I edit this, I'll try and put it all in order. So, okay, anyways, that's it for today's video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.